How you doing, Ralfy here, Ralfy Customs? It's the final, I believe, at time of filming, part on Barney's Triumph Bobber. So those that keep abreast of my vlogs and video series will see that we've done this. We've got this far and we've been awaiting parts, and the parts we're awaiting have arrived. So, without further ado, the next day or so is going to be spent putting the fucking bits back on. Putting it all back together, final build, final push over the top, chaps. Wait for the whistle. There is a little bit of fabrication work, well, engineering work as well, which I'm really fucking looking forward to. I'm going to make a trick alley mounting that goes at the front of the mudguard, and I'm going to make some bits to finish off these stainless fender struts, I suppose you call them. You know, it was fender struts, yeah. So, I'm going to drag it out, get things, some assemblage, and get on. So, folks are in. Fucking look at that. I'll tell you what, I'm so pleased. It's fucking beaut. The angle of the dangle, there's not much wrong there. There's a few things that Barney's going to do himself, which is the plumbing for the brakes. Obviously, we've added a few inches here and there, so the ABS system don't link up like it should, and a few other bits and bobs. But so far, I think you'll agree, that's fucking dapper. I'm going to get the rest of the bits and bobs bolted onto the front there, and then go get the back wheel and try the back wheel and the swing arm. Just make sure that mudguard sits right, and from there we can fabricate the sexy little aluminium and stainless bits that we need to. So, folks are in. Fucking look at that. I'll tell you what, I'm so pleased. It's fucking beaut. The angle of the dangle, there's not much wrong there. There's a few things that Barney's going to do himself, which is the plumbing for the brakes. Obviously, we've added a few inches here and there, so the ABS system don't link up like it should, and a few other bits and bobs. But so far, I think you'll agree, that's fucking dapper. I'm going to get the rest of the bits and bobs bolted onto the front there, and then go get the back wheel and try the back wheel and the swing arm. Just make sure that mudguard sits right, and from there we can fabricate the sexy little aluminium and stainless bits that we need to. So we've got to give the mudguards a bit of a polish. I've freshened the stays up, but these are marked up from where Barney's made the stays and shit, so. We're on with a polish. So I'm just refitting the front wheel with a 17mm hexagonal tool. Look, nuts locked against each other on a bolt go a long way. I had to take it out to position the mudguard just where it needs to go after that polish that I gave it. So, just nip this pinch bolt up. And that is fan daddy fucking does it. Next on the agenda, we're going to need to check for the spacing of this fender, this rear fender on the wheel, to see about making a proper block that goes in there. We're going to make a split block. One half's going to bolt through from the inside of the guard, and the other half's going to fill that void where these spaces are that I can't get my finger in to show you, but there's little round dowels there. They're going. And we're going to fabricate, well, engineer actually, from a billet of valor, a nice trick spacer that's going to do the job. Apart from that, everything looks spot on. Good job on the mudguard and good job mocking it up there, Barney. I'm going to make some stainless rounds, countersunk for an M8 cap head, that these are going to be trimmed off and TIG welded to as well. So that's next on the agenda. So we're on the R&D bench. Just move these, look. Not working with those at the minute. We've got a rudimentary sketch with half the dimensions upside down, because that's how we rock and fucking roll, isn't it? And I know that it needs to be, this block needs to be 20mm thick, so it's 20mm up there, this is 25, and it needs to be 65 wide, and then we need the 2 holes for the bolts that I've marked out there, 48 centres they are, and they need to countersink 10mm diameter, 8mm deep. So we'll plot this out on here. We're going to mark it out on here. Because I need to work out the curve, yeah? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it as one block, and then I'm going to run a milling cutter. Hopefully, this is my plan. I'm going to set it up on the rotary table and run the milling cutter to give me the curve. Now, how I found the curve is my old mate Max at Swan Valley Machine Shop showed himself using one of these contour tools. I got a new old stock one. It is Reader's Digest, mine is. I mean, go fucking figure, you know what I mean? 21 shillings it cost when it was new. There's no date on this, I don't think. I've not opened it properly because I don't want to fuck it up. But it's all there, you know. Fucking nuts, isn't it? So that cost 21 shillings, which is nearly a fucking quid. Back in the 60s, whenever. And that's going to allow me to mark this out. I'll use a bit of fucking die cam on there, show it you when I've done it, and then we can lay this on, look, and that will give us the curve that we need, so that we can plot out what deep this needs to be, so we know we can do a 6mm cut and still come out with a 13mm bit where the holes are. Makes sense to me. So we got it chopped out, as you've just seen, marked out rough. Not rough, it's actually marked out, but we kind of plotted a course as we've used the marking out to work out what we need to do. I'm just going to mill it square and to size, and then we can get the holes drilled through and countersunk, and then look at making this curve, cutting this curve. Once that's done, we can give it a good polish and fit it into the mudguard, and from there we can fit the back wheel and the swing arm, etc, etc. So I've just touched off, and because it's alley we can give it quite a bit light, maybe not quite that much, and we'll just work our way around the block, squaring it up using the Joe Piesinski method, which is always work from the outside in. See how off that is, look, there's no cut there. We'll just come up a little bit with the bed, a little bit more. Camera's in the way of the handle, so away we go. I'll catch you when we've squared it up. We've done the ends, look. I'm just going to set it on some my shortest parallels, like that, and nice and central. Push that down and give it a tight end. You'll have noticed I used this when I was doing the ends in this end of the vice. That's just to stop the vice from cocking a bit. They're good vices, but it's not a genuine fucking 300 quid one, so better safe than sorry. Anyway, I'll give this a clean up and take it nearly to size, and then I'll flip it over, square it off, flip it back, take it to size, then that's all 4 sides done. And then we just need to machine this down to 20mm thick. So let's get on and give this a jolly old cut, start in this corner. Just come on, me old girl. Yeah. It's a lovely mill this is, but I think if I was buying again, I'd try and afford a Bridgeport. Coming from Leicester, where Bridgeports were made, is very fitting. And you got that, you can use the quill, you can bring the head in and out, you can angle it all over the fucking dangle like. So Bridgeport, very, very, very versatile machine. I'm not saying that this Harrison isn't versatile, it's just some jobs are more difficult than they need to be, you know. As you'll see when I come to do the mounting holes and countersink and pocket them out for the bolts, I'll use my other little Chinese mini mill because it's a lot easier to do those kind of operations in that. So we'll have this over anyway. Digress a little. Ooh, sorry, bashing into you. And we'll give it a trim up. So, just a nudge low, just a skim I want, just enough to get rid of those saw marks and make sure that it's nice and parallel to the other side. So just give that a quick nibble off, like that. And then we'll flip it over. We take these burrs, there's virtually no burrs. This is a wonderful way Joe Pye going around the outside, pushes all the burrs to the inside, and then you just take them off with that last cut. So there's virtually nothing. I mean, if this had burrs on, they'd just cut me wide open, but there's a little bit there, but nothing really. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyway, I digress. So we'll flip it over, machine it to size, and then lay it on its back and take it down to the 20mm, which I won't bore you with. We'll get it all squared up and I'll join you over on the mini mill. So we're over at the mini mill, and I've marked the centres for the bolt holes, the mounting bolts, M6 mounting bolts. I'll use my wiggler, the pointy tool on my wiggler to visually align with the marks that I've made, and I've set my bed stops and I've locked off the Y-axis, I think it's called, the in and out axis. So we can only move between the centres of those two holes, which is just what the doctor ordered. So we've got a little spotting drill in. It's going to end up with a 6.5mm hole through. I could probably get away without the spotting drill, but I'm going to use it anyway. So we'll just get that started. That's spot on, that is. That's just where we want to be. So I'm really happy with that. I'll go and get some lube. Because that's what separates us from the animals. In more ways than one. So we'll whack that in there. Work our way down. And what I'll do, hopefully this is long enough to break through. If not, then it's not, but I think it will be. Bit more lube. Never ever play with these look like I am. You think it's alley, so it's soft and friendly, but I've got a fucking cut on my finger that the camera's not going to pick up very well. There, fucking bone deep. from machining aluminium. Just grabbing hold of that swarf, clearing it away on the lathe. And that ain't a fun time when you have to stop work and try and stem the flow. Right, I can wind that all the way along to the next stop. Whoop whoop, off we go. Fucking hell. Boom, hit the stop, touch it on, spot on the centre. Good old fucking pointy tool, eh? Got us right where we need to be. Anyway, I'll get those out to 6mm. And then we need to put a 10mm counterbore to take the head of the Allen bolt that's going in there. The socket head. And I'm going to do a naughty, I think. I should really change the chuck out and go with the collet holder for the M10, for the 10mm. Milling cutter, slot drill, fucking slot drill. It needs to be flat because the bolt that's going in has got a square shoulder. So I can either drill it out 10mm and then just touch this down, or because this is made for the job. Not only is it an end cutting end mill, so it's like a slot drill, but I've already drilled the centre out anyway, so one that wasn't would do it. But we'll do that. We'll get on and do that. So you see this all the time on YouTube, machinists saying you should never use a mill, an end mill in a chuck, because these are fucking rock hard, and so are these, and it don't grip right. And I agree, if you were doing the milling action, if you were moving it left and right or backwards and forwards, then that's just maybe. I'm not even sure this is going to clear. I'll just zero that and see if we can get 10mm. Because really what I'm doing is I'm using it as a fucking drill. I'm drilling it hole, which needs to be 8mm deep, if I remember right. Let me check the drawing. Bear with. Yep, 8mm. So I zeroed off, and we're going to go down 8mm. Wish me luck. Let's lock off. Nothing. Here we go then. Probably slow that down a little bit, but it feels good. 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on, you fucker. 8. That was actually 8.02. But I won't tell if you don't. I'll clear off that bird's nest. That'll be an interesting species, won't it? We'll wind to the next stop. It's there, and then we go down to that 8mm depth again. Here we go. 6, 7, 7.7, 8. Bob on. And that's that. So, quick deburr and a quick clean up. We'll do it and put a face on, and then we'll look at splitting it with that 6mm cutter to give us the curve that we need, which is going to be the hardest part of the job, like, you know, actually making a block with the holes in that you need in is no biggie really. So I'll join you back over at the big mill, I think, and we're going to see if we can rotary table it or something. Okay, so having congitated and masticated and lots of other taters, I've decided the only way I can really do it is on the fucking bandsaw, which is going to be a slow and painful process. And then I'm going to have to clean it up somehow and go from there and size it accordingly. I'd allowed for a 6mm mill, if you like, a 6mm milling cutter to plough through that, but it's such a big fucking radius, I can't do it. I've got nothing that can hold it properly and turn the radius that big. I thought about making an extension piece for my big rotary table for my 8-inch, but it's going to be hanging out that much. It's just fucking not going to work. So this is the way we're going, I'm afraid. Slow and steady winter race, and I'll catch you up when I've cut through it, and not cut through myself, obviously. Boom. Right, that actually came out nicer than I thought. I've started to sand it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a belt sander and a trusty mug of water for cooling purposes, because it gets fucking hot. And all I can do really is clean it up, go and try it, clean it up, go and try it. So I'm just going to take some of this edge away, because I can see that it's uneven there. And then go and try it in the mud guard when it looks about right. Okay, and last on the agenda, we just need to take this, I'll show you, I'll take it out. I need to take this down to size. It needs to be 13mm from here to here. I'll double check the size, but that's where I'm at. And what I've done, I've marked a line, and in order to get it accurate enough for what we need, I put a parallel on top of the drawers like that, and against that line it up with a line, and then we can just eyeball it in. I'm just going to nip that up, and then I'll get right down low and get in there and double check that that's alignment's correct, and we'll go from there. Now we can clear away it's camera action, and we'll just rough that off there, like so. Nice and easy. Bit of a squirt, a little lube, and we'll work our way around this block. Strictly speaking, we're climb milling all the way around, but as I mentioned earlier, this is the Joe Pye way to get no burrs, and it works really well. Good for roughing out and getting you about where you want to be. We just need to cut a little deeper, so we'll come up a little further to there. There we go, and work our way around again. Screw the old lube, nice and steady. I'll deburr the holes when I've finished. That's good. Got to be a fucking it might be aluminium, but it still burns when it goes down your shirt front. So rip down the middle. And then I'll take it over to the pillar drill, and we'll deburr those holes, and that part's finished. So there's that part made. Well, those parts, the two odd fucking touch. I've just finished polishing them. Now they're sandwiched between the rear fender, rear mud guard, because we're fucking British, and the bracket. Fender go in there in the curve, and the bracket bolt on there. I just need to source some M6 that are going to do it, and I've probably got some in the drawer. Once I've cooled down, I'll have a